Hey parents, welcome back to Teenager Tuesday.
Woohoo!
April Tuesday. A Tuesday in April.
April Tuesday.
a Tuesday in April. Me and Elijah, if we haven't met, my name is Will Pear. I'm the lead student pastor here at Hope. And with us for this series of one-offs is Elijah Keck, the student pastor.
Hi, guys. I'm the student pastor at McKinney.
McKinney.
Let's go.
Yeah. And we're continuing kind of doing some of these one-off conversations based off of the survey that came in. One of those being, we had a good chunk of parents say, like, rules. My teenager doesn't like home rules. And what do I do with house rules? And do I need more rules? And do I need less rules? And,
we all love rules. People
yeah.
as people, we love rules.
Especially teenagers.
Teenagers love that.
We're here to say, have more rules.
More rules.
Just, I think our house should be like the book of Leviticus.
Yeah.
A little hard to understand, but a lot of rules.
A lot of rules.
Yeah.
No.
This conversation is all about, we'll do more on house rules later maybe, but we want to circle around helping your students see the greater part of intention. What's the intention behind the rule versus only seeing the rule at face value?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's good. I think, honestly, just before we even get into, we have 5 things that we're going to be talking about for y'all. And so if you're taking notes in your head, maybe, or listen back and actually write these things down, it'll help. But I think this all leads back. Obviously, everything we do should lead back to the model that Jesus set and the model that God sets. And it's the same thing with his rules. It's not about the rules itself. It's about what's behind those rules. And as parents, we understand that, like, we're training you to get to that point, to live it on your own. And all of our rules should follow that. And we should grow in those things.
Yeah.
So.
And if you haven't even thought of what is the intention behind this rule, that is a really good thing to just pause on a house rule and say, why do we have this? Because an intention of, like, well, they need to do stuff around the house. Well, as a parent, you have a greater intention than that.
Yeah.
You have the intention of, you want to help them live better on their own and make better choices when they're by themselves. And then, like, no, they should just behave better for me at home. You have a better intention than that.
Yeah.
So we can dive into it. Number 1 on intentions being greater than rules is consistently communicate intent. Consistently say out loud, hey, this is what the rule is, but this is why. This is what the rule is. This is why. Maybe even make a list of all of the whys behind the rules. Because your whys will probably be, there's probably less whys than there are rules. Because if you say, I want you to be a better roommate in college, well, there's a lot of things to make them better roommates, like learning to do their own, like clean up, dishes, laundry, being respectful of siblings, even some of the whys, like you want your kids to like each other after they all leave the house.
Yeah.
Okay, well, these rules will help them interact with each other better. It's just and it's just communicating that.
Yeah, and people need that. I mean, Will knows this, being my boss. I'm a why person. I will follow I'll follow the rules. I'll follow whatever I need to. But I fundamentally, I need to understand why we're doing it. Otherwise, I can be very frustrated. Maybe you're like that as a parent, as a person. I get very frustrated because I'm like, well, am I just doing this for no reason, or what's the purpose behind this? And so I think it's just people in general need that explanation and need that intent. And so communicate it.
That's true. And one thing that this conversation, talking about the why, helps you with is you can say, hey, we can disagree about the practice. You and I, me, parent, you, child, we can disagree about the practice, but just I want you to understand why.
Yeah.
And then it can at least soften the blow of why they have to keep doing something.
Child.
Yeah.
Listen.
Yeah. So number 1, consistently communicate intent.
Yep. Number 2, here we go. Eliminate. That's it. Eliminate. I'm just kidding. Eliminate because I said so. I'm not at that stage of parenting in my life yet, but I could see it. I could see it coming because I said so. Why do I have to do this? This is so dumb. Because I said so. It's not really a reason at all, honestly. It's just honestly more of a power trip from my point of view, more of a power trip sometimes that we lean on. And I think students right now are probably they probably sniff that stuff out better than ever when someone's just on a power trip or someone's doing it to kind of show that authority. And I'm not saying it's bad to show authority, but kind of everything's going to be going back to that intent. Why as a parent do you want to do that? And why are we making our students do these things without the rightful intentions? And so eliminate the because it's me, I said so. That's cool. And kids should honor their parents and listen to their parents. Right. But why are you saying so, I guess, is the right question.
Yeah.
Because I said so, not a great thing. And kids have students have a harder time understanding your actual reason why you want them to do that. So go back to that intention, and maybe you're short on time and you want to just finish with that. Like, can't explain this right now. Boom, here you go. And maybe you're short on patience in the moment.
Yeah.
And I think you need to take that time, and if you're short on patience, I get it, but maybe you need to take that time so your student will be less frustrated with the task or the thing, so they can work for that purpose.
Yeah, even if that's like pushing back on them, and because they're like, why can't I just decide this on my own or something? And one of your intentions as a parent is because you know it's important for them to respect people in authority. They have to do that.
Yeah.
They're going to have bosses. We all have people that we report to. There has to be a level of respect that we have for the people that we're under organizationally. And can we communicate to that to them? Like, hey, right now I'm over you in this home. And that means I'm making these decisions.
Yeah.
And I'm making these decisions because I have your best intent.
Yeah.
One day you're going to have a boss, and you can't talk to your boss that way, which means you can't talk to me that way.
Right.
And you're going to have a spouse, and you can't talk with them the way that you're trying to talk with them. And you can't talk to me that way. So when you're ready to talk, I'll be ready to talk. But just doing the because I said,
Right. And it's a two-way
which
street.
you get tired and frustrated.
Yeah, but like it's like a respect thing, right? Respect. Yeah. You want respect, but they want respect too, and a part of respect is the understanding and not just the force. The force that you come with as a parent.
Oh man, we got to go quicker here, Elijah. Number 3, at times invite the rule to be a two-way street.
Yeah.
Not every rule, not for all things, but if you can invite them in, and as they grow up, you can invite them into more rules. Like, let's say they're going into their junior year. Maybe you want to sit down with them and say, hey, I just want to visit this rule, and maybe we won't change anything, but I want to welcome the conversation. I want to think about your curfew. Like, what do you think is a fair curfew for now, knowing that my intention is to keep you safe?
Right.
What would you say is a fair curfew? And then let's talk on this together. And I'm also nervous about you driving at night. And then maybe the rule doesn't change, but then you're at least inviting them in to the conversation so that they can be a part of that, helping them, process towards them being on their own 2 feet.
That's so good.
Yeah.
That's a great point. For the frame rules as training for adulthood. As parents, our goal is to help them and grow them to be the people that they need to be, so when they enter adulthood, they can function well and do it well. And that's our job as parents, is to help not just get them to 18 and say, see you later. It's to hopefully set them up to be great functional people in that space. And so, sorry, my voice right now. With that, students are future obsessed. They oftentimes don't see the short side of things, and so preparing them. Hey, and we kind of already went into this. Hey, this is why I'm doing this. This rule exists to train you to be good at working hard. This rule exists to train you to understand how to set a good curfew for yourself. Because when you're an adult, you still have to have a curfew for yourself. It just is something you decide. And so training them to do that. And then what I love is this idea of using their goals, not against them, but for them. Hey, awesome. You want to drive. That's super cool. What could we do to work towards that goal? What are things that you can be trusted with the small thing? Hey, if you can help clean this car for the next 2 months, that'll show me that you're willing to do this when you do get a car. Yeah. So it's setting up goals to help them see the bigger picture, not just these are the rules because
and I love that example that you just gave, because it's aiming at trust.
Yeah.
You're saying we're working on an attribute called trust. And that's very important as an adult. People need to be able to trust you. So can I trust you with this small thing of taking the dog out before We need to see this consistent trust, so that can lead to me trusting you by giving you a massive vehicle that is dangerous for you to drive on 380 called a car.
Yeah.
You know. Number 5, the last thing is make sure that as parents, own your emotions too, and let them see your heart. Let them see your heart for them. Own your emotions when maybe like we are impatient and we snap. It's okay for us to be impatient. It's not okay for us to even like snap at our kids all the time, at teenagers all the time, at people all the time. That's not okay, you know. And that is something that we can work on. And I don't think that like, well, I'm just an impatient person. We wouldn't let a 5-year-old get away with that. We know patience, kindness, working on our words, that's a skill that can be developed over time. And when we as parents mess up on that, I think we can own that. And it can, like we talked about last week, build trust, as well as showing our student that the intention is not a power trip. The intention is not just the rule at face value. The intention is we care about you. We want to make you better in this way, in whatever way.
Yeah. And as a pastor, you know, you might feel as a parent, my kid doesn't even care if I care about them. Yes, they do. We hear that all the time from students. They want to see a parent show up. You're the most influential person in their life. And that's why it's important to continue to grow ourselves and be honest with where we're at too in these things. But these things are hard. It can be difficult to put these things into practice. But man, I would encourage you, practice these things. Put these things into plan. Talk with your spouse, talk with whoever, and start focusing on the intent over the rules.
Yeah.
I think it's cool.
Yeah. And some of this we're going to expand on next week. We're going to be hitting one thing and then talking about it from the angle from this really good book that I'll talk about next week. So make sure to tune in. For now, remember, you can do this. You're not alone. God is with you, and so are we.